give us your prediction on what you think. Well, I'll go first and you go second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I think is this was a win for everybody, not just men, not just falsely accused. I think this was a win for women too, because what's going to happen now is that the women that are actually legit are going to come forward. The false accusers are going to, chill. And I think that, believe all women was a dangerous precedent. I said this back fucking 2 years ago.
Never should have been a thing.
It should never been a thing, because when you say believe all women, what you're basically doing is you're inferring that number one, that women are morally superior and they can't lie, and they're not human beings, which goes against the feminist narrative, which is we're supposed to be equal, correct?
Right.
And to be equal to a man, you need.
Also, it's also saying, well, they're superior, but also inferior, because if they can't lie, like, isn't lying advantageous in certain circumstances? So you're saying women are incapable of lying, so they can't do something that men can do. Well, I thought that we're all supposed to be equally capable of doing everything, right?
And the craziness with the college campuses, like nowadays, like if two people hook up on college campuses, they've been drinking alcohol. Neither party can consent. So now it's a race of who can go to the conduct board and report the other first, and they get in trouble.
Right.
So it's like, what's going on here? Like, are we going to say women are adults that are capable of making their own decisions, or are we going to sit here and say that they're children and can't make their own decisions? What's going to happen?
Let's not lie. We know who gets to the conduct board first, because it's not guys going to the conduct board being like, I smashed.
It's women,
it's
one guy actually did do it. Shout out to Tim Cass. They talked about it.
I'm not saying it never happens. I'm saying it's rare.
But here's the thing: he went because he knew she was going to go.
Yeah, right.
He ran to them first.
And when this mutually assured destruction system comes around, when we know, like, okay, this is X, Y is going to happen, and the tables are turned, then it starts to get investigated. Then people are like, oh shit, okay, we gotta fix this issue.
Corner Kyle, $5. If the justice system gave out 5 years to JS and Amber H, would it prevent a lot of lying moving forward? I think it would, man.
It would have. I wish Juicy was still in jail instead of getting out for 1 day.
There needs to be reform 100%, where false allegations, whether it's rape, sexual assault, any type of crime,
anything,
it needs to be punished.
Yeah.
700 horse at $500, $5. Sorry. So simply putting assets in a family's number, name, or a separate LLC is enough to shield them from lawsuit.
I did not say that. In fact, I said the opposite. 700 horses. I said if they find that it's your alter ego, it in fact will not help it. So if you're putting it in a family member's name or a separate LLC, and you're using it as an alter ego for your person, and there's a judgment against you, that will not necessarily protect it. Now, I'm not saying that, and it isn't helpful. Right. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that to shield, for example, your business assets from your personal assets. That actually is a smart move if you form an LLC for business assets. However, if you're gonna get recovered against and you're hiding your stuff in an LLC, that's not going to save it.
Aldane Campbell, will they change the laws for that false allegations? I hope they do, man.
I hope they do. That's what we should push for.
Direction.
Yeah, we should push for that.
This case was a step in the right direction, man. I think it was a win for everybody. And most importantly, it was a win for the real victims. Because this is going to be a controversial take, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh, no. Here's mine with a controversial take.
Rape culture is a fucking myth. It is a myth. And I did a whole podcast on this on Fresh and Fit. Go ahead and search it. We did it with Rollo Tomasi. It is a myth, guys. Let me tell y'all something, that a lot of the statistics that they use is 1 in 5 women on college campuses a victim or whatever. Like, let's just think about that from a common sense standpoint. Would you send your daughter to college if there was a 20% chance? That's ridiculous. 1 in 5 is actually getting assaulted on a college campus. I would never send my daughter, but people say this shit because it sounds great on paper. But the reality is, when you peel back the layer and see where that study came from, it comes from faulty, questionnaires.
Right.
Where you're asking a girl, how did you feel when it happened? Did it actually happen?
How did you feel?
Yeah. That's the scary thing. How did you feel?
Do you regret it?
Yeah. Do you regret it?
And it's like, well, yeah, that's a lot of it is stuff you regret, right? But that doesn't mean you didn't consent to it just because you regret it. There's a huge difference between regret and consent.
And that's the clown world that we're getting into, guys. When you get into this world, it's extremely ambiguous, whatever. So when we talk about sexual assault, rape culture, etc., it does not exist in the United States, and we prove this definitively because we use the Bureau of Justice Statistics to show that it's actually far less prevalent than they want to tell you. Because a lot of these studies that say, "Oh no, we live in a rape culture," all this other shit, they use stats that are not accurate, and they use a bunch of stupid questions. Like, one of the questions, guys, was, "Did you have a drink with someone before you guys hooked up?" And if they answered yes, that was considered as a tally for one in the sexual assault column. Yeah. So if you were with your wife, you guys have a glass of wine, and then you guys smash, you technically, according to some of these studies, raped your wife.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. There used to be an era where you couldn't legally grape your wife, but that's a whole different era. That's a whole different era.
But that's the studies that a lot of these crazy feminists are citing, guys. But go check that episode out if you guys want. But yes, it is a myth. But Andrew, what's your take on this, on the outcome of this and the future?
Yeah, I really think this has been great for opening people's eyes, for red pilling people on the reality of what's going on, the reality of the fact that men are scared to reach out. I've had so many men reach out to me and say, thank you for covering this. Thank you for getting out the hashtag men too. Thank you for showing that men can be the victims of abuse too. Thank you for outing women like Amber Heard, people like Amber Heard, because there's men and women who act like Amber Heard, but especially I think women, it's something that other women are discovering. They're saying, oh my God, I never knew there were women like this. I never knew there were people like this. I'm like, yes, this is what we're fucking terrified of, because you bring a person like this in your life and they are a nuclear bomb. They destroy you financially, physically, emotionally, mentally. They destroy your friends, your family, everything. So I think that is the great lesson here. And if only a couple of you out there can keep the Amber Turds out of your life, that is a fucking victory. That is a massive victory. Make sure that you get rid of those people. Be on the watch for them. They're the ones who are going to throw it at you so strong in the beginning, right? If it's a girl, she's going to throw that crazy pussy at you. If it's a guy, maybe he's got that golden ding dong, right? They're going to hit you in the beginning. They're going to come at you strong, but they're going to flip. They're going to turn on you. Watch for that. Be very, 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 very cautious of that. It's very dangerous, and I think that is more important than even the legal consequences here.
Facts.